Previously on Tomb Raider, the Angel of Darkness. Oh, well, that sucks. Alright, there we go. We got to the bottom. Bye, Billy. Oh my god, Bailey's following me. And with that, our adventure continues. Hello everybody, Jonathan Wolf here, and welcome back to the Tomb Raider Marathon. Today we're continuing with Tomb Raider 4. I was at Tomb Raider 4, I don't know why. Tomb Raider the Angel of Darkness. I don't know why I'm trying to say The Last Revelation. I'm done with that game, thank God. But yeah, in this video we're continuing with Tomb Raider 6, and we're moving on to one of my favorite levels in the entire game, and honestly one of my favorite levels in the entire classic series, and that is the Hall of Seasons. So let's go. So this is actually a very interesting level because there's actually, this level is basically the St. Francis Folly of this game, because there are multiple things we have to do, there's multiple keys we have to get, and yeah, we have a lot of trials to beat. It's kind of similar to the elemental trials from Lost City of Tinos. Alright, now I guess we're starting a leaderboard. Alright, let's go. Let me turn that off actually. Okay, there we go, much better. Yeah, I don't wanna have a timer just telling me how long it takes me to beat a friggin' level. Okay, so here we are in the main room of the Hall of Seasons, and as we get into this room, we're going to see a visit from an old buddy. As you can see, we got Billy over here, Billy the boner man, which is awesome. Okay, so the gimmick of this level is we basically have to collect 4 crystals which go into this area right here, back at the beginning. So yeah, right here we can actually interact with something, but we cannot place anything because we don't have any items. So the idea is, okay, so what do we do for this level? What are we supposed to do? Well, it turns out that in the middle of this room we have 4 symbols. We have a symbol for earth, a symbol for fire, for wind, and for water. And similar to Lost City of Tinos, we basically have to do some elemental trials. Now I am going to do these in a specific order, but the first one I'm going to do is the earth trial. Now when you step on any of the platforms, 3 doors are going to open. Alright? And basically, as you can see, we got these symbols. Also, Billy, you're being really annoying. Please piss off. Alright, let me go over here. Let's go over here and let's ignore him for a while. But, yeah, basically, you may notice that we got 3 doors that open over there. And at the end of the hallway, there are other symbols. And at the end of these hallways, there is a lever. And basically what you have to do is you basically have to take a guess. And basically you have to say, okay, what lever is the correct one to continue to move on to the first trial? Now, basically the idea is you want to make sure that the symbol on the second symbol, which is the symbol behind the door, basically resembles the symbol of the tile you stepped on. So I stepped on the earth tile, which means that the earth symbol that is on the middle, which means that the symbol we have to go to is right here in the middle, since the middle one has an earth symbol. But yeah, once we make our choice, let's pull the lever. And by pulling the correct lever, you're going to open this gate as well as the other gates that connect to the other levels. Now, right there in the bottom, there is some ammunition. And if you pulled the wrong lever, these trapdoors would open, and you actually have to go to a trap room that you have to escape, and you basically have to try again. And to show you real quick, where is it? Yeah, right here. So right here we got this door, and this door is actually a return path from the trap room. Now I'm not going to show the trap room because we have to go down into the trap room eventually. But for right now, let's turn around in midair and let's enter the first trial, which is the Wrath of the Beast, or the Earth trial, essentially. Alright, now as soon as we enter this area, we're gonna get a cutscene. That guy was so pissed that he destroyed the world for us. That is awesome. Okay, so yeah, here we go. The Wrath of the Beast. Who is the beast and why are we feeling its wrath? I don't know, but man, that is loud. Alright, now the first thing we're going to do as we enter is we're going to go to the right. Because down here, there are some bandages we can get. Alright, and now what we have to do is we have to get to the other side. And getting over there is very easy. However, we have to deal with some platforming, which can be a make or break situation when it comes to this game. Now for this next jump, we want to be careful because you may notice the brighter floor over there. Well, you want to be careful because if you step on that floor, the floor is going to break away and you're going to fall off to your death. So make sure you do not jump from the edge, otherwise you're going to land on this platform. Yeah, basically if you get close to it, it's going to fall off. Alright. Alright, now we want to run because the floor is going to abandon us. And, okay. If you want, from that bridge, you can actually make a jump to this pillar right here and make it to that platform over there in the distance. And you can basically skip this part right here. However, as soon as you step on that platform, that platform is going to break away. So you basically have to be like pinpoint perfect to get to essentially skip like this Lara just shimmying across the wall, even though it doesn't look like she's shimmying. It looks like she's just doing a sidestep, but whatever. Also got her boobs jiggling. That is, or going back and forth. That is awesome. And yeah, basically every once in a while when you cross certain areas, yeah, the ground is gonna break away. Alright, but now we got the scariest part. And basically, as soon as we stay here, we're going to have this rock just go over. And once you get to the end, you want to jump. But then you want to move quick because the ground is going to start abandoning you. So now we just have to basically keep following the path and get to the end. Also, it is loud. Holy crap. And once you get to this tile, you're safe for now. But yeah, once we're here, we just want to do a jump. And then we want to gun it. Or then we want to be quick. Now, my recommendation is to not jump with these small steps. Because sometimes when you just do a hop, you will overshoot the platform. And you're just going to fall to your death. Alright, so now we got the final part. And basically, for this one, you just want to hug the right side. Because the left side is going to break apart. And we can do a swan dive. And almost grab some shotgun ammo in this cutscene. Because, yeah, as you can see, the ground is going to abandon us. And, yeah, we're basically stuck in this little alcove for the rest of eternity. That is unfortunate. But, yeah, right over here, we got some shotgun shells. And right where this door, I guess, is supposed to be, we have our first crystal. And this is the Earth Crystal. Now, as soon as you pick up the crystal, we're going to have some ground being created, as you can see. But we also have this void, and we also have these water these water flows just going through. And there's actually a very good reason as to why. Because as soon as we get into this arena, we're going to spawn 3 fire skeletons, or not fire skeletons, but 3 skeletons with flaming swords. So we got 3 flaming billies. That is awesome. Now, this part can be either very easy or very hard, because what you have to do is there are 2 levers on the side of the room. Oh, God. There are 2 levers on the side of the room, and basically what you have to do is you have to... You basically have to pull them. However, because these skeletons are shooting their fireballs, trying to beat this level without using a med pack can be kind of difficult. Now, the best way to get rid of these skeletons is to use the shotgun. And oh, he's still alive. There we go. Now, the best strategy that I found to use with the shotgun is basically you want to lure these guys to the holes, or to the hole, and take your shotgun. And basically you want to wait for them to crouch, because when they crouch like that, after you shoot them, they're going to be knocked back. Even though it's going to be a bit delayed, but whatever. But, yeah, that's actually the easiest way to get rid of the skeletons. And also, make sure you take one at a time because, yeah, if you try to focus on more than one, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Especially considering that to this day, I still have no consistent, like, way to switch targets. If I can at all. And, yeah, it's a bit wonky. Also, I know it's very obvious, but don't fall in the hole. But yeah, once you pull both levers, we will actually open the exit so we can go back into the Hall of Seasons. Now, you may have also noticed that those skeletons, or Billy's fiery cousins, basically threw fireballs. If you get caught on fire, what you can do is you can actually go to this water spout or the other one and basically put yourself out. So at least it's not an instant death, which is awesome. But yeah, with that said, we are one crystal down. We're now moving on to the next one. Actually, let me see real quick. What is the official name of the crystal? Okay, we got the Earth Crystal. Resonates to the element Earth. Not the element of Earth, but the element Earth. Alright. And that's it. And there's Billy right there. And now, so yeah, now we're done with the Earth trial. The next trial we're doing is the Water trial. And, okay, Billy didn't mess it up. And why are you freezing? Okay. Okay, so yeah, similar to the last time, we actually have to, we basically have to find the wavy tie, or the water texture at the end. So which is this one right here. So for the Earth trial, you want to go in, you want to pull the switch on the middle. For the Water trial, you want to pull the switch on the left. And yeah, once we get to this point, we will enter Neptune's Hall. And this is my least favorite of the trials, and it's mainly due to one factor, which we'll get into later. Okay, now as soon as we enter this room, we're going to have one of Billy's fiery cousins, one of Billy's flaming cousins. But we can just get to the other side and we can actually knock him into the pit. And similar to the Skellies from Tomb Raider 4, this will actually kill him. So that is awesome. Now, where one of Billy's flaming buddies were, there are 2 pickups worth of shotgun shells. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much ammo you get for the shotgun, but yeah, it's not that reliable to know, because instead of getting like ammunition, you get clips. And basically what I mean is, for the MV9 with the ammo, and as you can see, we got 12 clips of the MV9. That's basically how it works. And what's it with the shotgun? Okay, so we got 25 cartridges of limited shot. If what this says it's true, and we have 25 shots per pickup, this means that we now have, what the hell, 425 shells? No, that can't be. There's no way. There is no way I got that many. That would be ridiculous. Probably someone in the comments will tell me, but I guess we'll find out one day. Or maybe I'm just gonna assume that we have more than 400 shotgun shells. That is insane. Okay, so now we're moving on to Neptune's Hall, and basically this is your basic swimming trial. Now in this water, as soon as you get into this area, we're gonna have this sort of clang trap, and basically you want to swim through the opening. Now you want to be careful because the blades can do damage when they close and when they open. So it's not like the blades from Tomb Raider 2, where you can just and yeah, you can also swim through them. It's not like the blades from Tomb Raider 2, where they only damage you when they do a specific animation. But yeah, that trap is very easy. In fact, if you enter the water the moment you start this level, you can actually just swim through the blades no problem, and you will not take damage. All right, so now let's take a dive. And oh, Lara, you suck. All right. But yeah, by pulling that lever underwater, we will fill this area with water. So yeah, this is the area where we drop one of Bailey's flaming cousin. And once we enter this area, we want to go here to the left, because here we got an opening with a lever. And this lever is going to fill up this pool with more water. And by doing so, we will gain access to more to some openings. All right, now as we go into this room, we want to look at this gargoyle head right here. And from this gargoyle head, we want to go to the right, because over here to the right, we got the first opening we want to go into. Now, to get out of the water, I don't know if I specified this well, but instead of the classic game where you press forward and action, you only need to press action when you are like near the ledge. But yeah, right over here in this little alcove, we got some ammunition. I want to say it's V-Packer or Vector ammo. But now that we're done with that, we're going to go directly in front of the gargoyle head, because here we have another dead end, which will give us a large med pack. And now we move on to the final trap or the final gauntlet of this area. Yeah, these levels are honestly relatively short, but yeah, like I mentioned, this is basically like St. Francis Folly. I mean, basically this level is... This level is basically if St. Francis Folly had a load screen every time you enter, like, the God Trials, you know? Which, you know, if you're playing Anniversary, you have to... It kind of... You can kind of say it's like that, because you have... In Anniversary, you have these boring-ass corridors with these very generic and very samey gate puzzle. And I say puzzle in huge quotation marks.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, right over there we got another large med pack. But yeah, now we go down here, and here we have another large med pack. And right over here we got a fork in the road. We can either go to the left or we can go to the... Lara, I didn't tell you to go up. Yeah, this is actually my biggest problem with the swimming controls, is that sometimes Lara will just go down by herself, or she'll just go up, yeah, like that. I mean, I know it physically makes sense, but whatever. But it still annoys me. But yeah, right here we got a fork in the road. However, we want to go over here where this broken gate is, and I accidentally activated the trap. That is not good. Okay, but now I'm going to save my game, because coming up next we have by far one of the worst traps in Tomb Raider history. I hate this trap. And that's mainly due to one fatal flaw. And it's the fact that you have you basically have no room for error. Because you basically have to be very precise with your positioning. But yeah, if I have a death montage, I'm not going to be surprised. But yeah, as you can see, we got these blades jutting out of the ground. And basically, you have to try your best to not get hit by them. Now, what I recommend is, as soon as you get past the first trap, you want to hug the corner. You want to hug the bottom left corner, and you will most of the times avoid every single blade. But yeah, as you saw right there, I got hit on the foot and I just lost some health. All right, but now we have the worst of the bunch, because as soon as we cross this gate, we're going to have blades that are going to come from pretty much all sides of the wall. However, they're going to come out in a clockwise fashion, and it's going to start from the very top, and it's basically going to go around in a clockwise order. So what you want to do is, as soon as you cross this hole in the fence, you want to swim to the top left corner and basically go fast. So yeah, basically we're just gonna go, and as you can see, unfortunately I did touch the spike, but I managed to get past that trap no problem. But yeah, that trap right there sucks, because you have very little space to work with. We can go into the void and go inside Lara. That is awesome. But yeah, you have very little room to react, very little room to operate, and in the worst case scenario, these blades can be a one-shot, and it is very stupid. It is, this right here is one of the worst traps in classic Tomb Raider. However, once we get to the end, we managed to do the worst part. To the right, there is some ammunition and an air pocket, and to the left we have a lever which is going to open a door that is where the gargoyle head is, and we can also get the water crystal. Now by picking up the crystal, we're also going to open this gate above me, so we can actually get out and basically go back to the Hall of Seasons. Now unfortunately there is no easy way to get to the top because, well, we still need to get away. We're still here on the bottom. Well, that is what this gargoyle door is for, because this door will take us back to that area where we flip that first lever. So yeah, if you actually go through here, we can actually swim into this opening again, and we can actually go and, go back to the Hall of Seasons. But there we go. We are 2 out of 4. That is awesome. So we are halfway done with the Hall of Seasons. That is awesome. All right, and now we're moving on to either the easiest, or the fastest or the shortest route, or the shortest trial of them all, and that is the fire trial. So yeah, let's go over here, back to the area. There's Billy. And the fire trial is this right here. And I don't know what this is supposed to be, but it does not look like fire. But yeah, basically we want to look for the symbol, and it looks like the one on the right is the correct symbol. Alright, so let's pull the lever. Hopefully Billy doesn't surprise us. And we can enter probably my second favorite trial, and that is the Sanctuary of Flame. And I gotta say, this place looks awesome as soon as we get into this area. Now, this level, there are 2 ways you can actually beat it. You can either speedrun this level, or you can just wait. Now, as soon as you enter this room, you're going to see these fire trials that are basically going to try to get to the end of the pathway. And basically, if you're fast enough, and if you're playing the remastered version, because there's actually an achievement tied to it, you basically have to jump all the way to the end before the lines, or before the fire trials reach the end. Because when they reach the end, check this out. The fire rises, and it will consume everything. And yeah, basically, if that fire wave catches you while you're in those platforms, it is an instant death. So yeah, you want to be careful with that. But because I'm patient and I want to do this the easy way, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. And also because I want to take this slow. Okay, now for this part you want to be careful, because when you step on certain tiles like this one, the platform will raise and some fireballs are going to rain down on you. However, you don't have to trigger them, so you can just ignore all of them. So, yeah. Alright, and now we have to do the set of jumps. Now, what I like to do is, I like to do 2 standing jumps. So we can actually get to this area. And then I do a standing jump for the middle platform right here. And then I just walk to this tile. Now, we want to be careful, because a fireball can actually reach that tile that is behind me. Or not, because again, these fireballs are completely random. So yeah, basically, we just want to get to the end. And oh my god, I got hit by another fireball. Alright. Let's just jump over here and claim the crystal. So yeah, getting the crystal, very easy. However, the way back can be very, very deadly. However, before we do that, as you can see, there is this platform right here. And right over here, we have a bit of a secret ledge with some shotgun shells and some bandages. Alright, so let's pick up the bandages. And let's pick up the shotgun shells. Now, when you come to this area, if you grab the crystal, this platform would actually spawn. And I say when you grab the crystal because, yeah, you can actually get to this point, but if you didn't grab the crystal, this platform would not be a thing. Alright, but now what I'm going to do, which is the safer way, and I hope I don't, and I swear to God, if I die, I'm going to flip off. But, you can just, if you do a standing jump, you're actually going to make it back here safely. You can try to hop from platform to platform, but it is really difficult. And, yeah, if you go into the very bad looking lava, yeah, you're actually going to die. Okay, so now we have to get back. And getting back can be the tricky part. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on this step right here, on the second step right here, and then I'm going to do a forward jump. Or a normal forward jump. Because by doing so, I will actually reach this platform. And then we just want to go to this platform right here. And you may also notice that as we continue, we have some ground just appearing right in front of us, which is awesome. Okay, now right here we got a very tricky jump. However, if you just do a hop, which in case you forgot, you do it by pressing walk and jump at the same time, we will actually make it to this platform, which is awesome. Now, once we stand on this platform, we want to wait because we're going to have a path being created for us. And then we want to go to the left because there's going to be another path created for us. So let's do a standing jump. And then we just want to wait one more time. And then we want to align ourselves. And then just do standing jumps. And there we go. That is it for the Sanctuary of the Flame. And yeah, this one can, and yeah, honestly, this one overall, if you know what you're doing and if you know your jumps, this is honestly the easiest of the trials. Which is going to be very scary because coming up next we have what it is, in my opinion, and what it is without question the hardest trial of them all, and that is the air trial. And anyone who's played this game knows exactly what this trial is, or what this trial is all about. But yeah, let's go ahead and press the wind tile, get spooked by Billy, and then let's go into the door on the left. And by door on the left, I mean the door on the right. Alright. So let's open the gates one more time and enter. Honestly, my favorite, even though this is the hardest one, this is also my favorite of the trials, and that is the Breath of Hades. And yeah, this one is very tough because, well, you'll see. Alright, so here we go, the Breath of Hades, and yeah, you may notice right here we got this giant pit in the bottom with some logs. And you may think, okay, so do we have to get carried by the wind? Is this something like oh crap, I forgot the game, but there is a game where you get carried by the wind in like wind currents. Oh my god, I cannot remember from the top of my head. Oh my god, I'm probably gonna put some text in editing, but yeah, basically we have to find a way to cross this huge chasm. And the way to do so is we want to go, as you start, we want to go to the right, because here we can actually push the wall. And in this opening, we have some, I want to say vector ammo, or maybe MV9. I actually don't know. I wish we actually get some names. But also, we do have this lever. And this lever, what it's going to do is going to open the gate so that we can actually get access to the wind crystal. But what it's also going to do is it's going to raise these logs. So now what we have to do is we have to platform on these tiny logs and get to the other side. But also, we want to be careful of the wind, because if we jump while the wind is blowing, we're going to get blown away. We're going to get blown away into the abyss. Now, this is a no-brainer, but I highly recommend you save your game. Although, to be fair, you can save, if you want, you can do this one first. But still, you want to be careful. Okay, so for this first log, what I like to do is I like to do a hop. However, I'm going to wait for this thing to be on my general, be right next to me. So right about there. And you can actually jump into the wind if it's blowing in the pillar you're about to jump to. What you don't want to do is you want to jump to a pillar when the wind is between you and the pillar you want to aim for. Now this room, you can do it in many different ways. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the way I like to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for that log over there. But however, what I have to do is I also have to wait for the distance to be just perfect so that I can make it with a standing jump. So right about there. Oh my god, and you can barely get it to it. Oh man. Alright, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to jump to the log that is across this one. So that one right there, the one that Lara's head is. So right about there. And then we can just do a normal jump and grab. Now, you can actually grab... Now, if you fail to jump into the logs, you can actually grab the ledge. However, grabbing the ledge is very finicky. And, yeah, it can be... And, yeah, at that point, you can just accept your death. But once we get to the end, we're going to get the wind crystal. And by picking up the wind crystal, we're going to turn off these dragon heads. And so wind is no longer blowing, which is awesome. Alright, but now we gotta get back. And getting back is honestly the same as... is as hard as going to the crystal. But there's also a very easy way to do so. Now, the first jump I'm gonna do is I'm going to stand on this line between the solid rock and the rock going downward. And then I'm gonna do a standing jump for this log right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a jump for that log. Now, you may notice that every single one of these logs is moving back and forward, except for this one right here. Well, that is because... Oh my god, trying to align is kind of difficult, but... okay. But if you actually jump to this log, we're actually going to move this dragon head, and we can actually go into a secret alcove, which contains a large med pack and 2 pickups of shotgun shells. Which is awesome. Alright. And now to get back. And getting back can be kind of hard because the idea is supposed to like use either long jumps or hops. However, I feel that doing hops is a bit more unreliable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a jump for this log and almost miss it. Holy crap. And you can do a hop for this log right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a hop for this log. Because, yeah, doing normal jumps is more... I feel more comfortable doing long jumps than doing just hops. But, with that out of the way, I just realized I did this entire area without dying. That is awesome. You know what? I thought for sure I was going to die on either the spike room in Neptune or Breath of Hades, but yeah, I've been trying to do this level no loads no mets for a challenge, and yeah, I'm just gonna say right now, doing this entire trial no loads no mets is, honest to God, and I'm just gonna say this with full confidence, one of the hardest things I've ever done, if not the hardest thing I've ever done in classic Tomb Raider. Like Maduba Gorge, no loads no mets, easy peasy. I can do it with my eyes closed. However, no, this trial, no, it is incredibly difficult. But there we go, we got all the crystals. So now what we gotta do is we have to make it to the beginning. And we have to basically place all the crystals. Now by putting the crystals, you're going to get a camera angle of a door, or a lock, or a door lock. And basically, by putting all the crystals, we will unlock, or we will remove the lock from that door, and we're going to be able to get to that door. Now, where is that door, you may ask? Billy, get out. Billy, get out of the way. Screw you, Billy. Alright. But yeah, by putting all the crystals, we will remove the lock in a door. And in order to get to that door, what we have to do is we have to go into the trap room, which you can get by failing the lever puzzle. So basically, you basically have, so yeah, basically what you want to do is you want to enter to any area and basically pull the wrong lever, which is either that one on the or the one on the other side. Now I'm gonna go back here because right over here there is some ammo I can get, because yeah, like I remember, ammo drops do reset, so that's actually very awesome. All right, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go into the trap room. Now, I did mention I was going to do it in the next video, but I'm going to get this area out of the way just to, you know, have it cleared up.
Uh-huh.
All right. And yeah, basically, in the earth pit, we do have some ammunition. And right over here, we're going to slide off into a transition screen, which I think is going to heal us up. No, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. And yeah, right over here we got some shotgun shells. And right over here we have the trap room. And basically this giant corridor is essentially one huge trap that you have to endure, or that you have to survive. Yeah, I'll save it here. Although I am going to save it later because because as soon as we are done with this area, I'm going to cut the video. But yeah, basically for this part, what you want to do is you want to go to the left and basically just jump over these blades. And as you run into this trap room, we will find a weird contraption. Now you may have seen it, but oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, look at this thing just pop off. Yeah, we got this spiky cart, I guess. And yeah, basically that thing is going to go around the perimeter, basically around this entire room. But yeah, right here in this alcove, we do have a large med pack we can grab. All right, and right over here we got this giant stone that's gonna try to break us. And oh my god, I'm getting impaled. Oh my Jesus. All right. I completely messed up. But yeah, basically we want to time ourselves and just jump through one of the sides. And yeah, as you may notice, right there we got the blades that kind of looks similar to the blade traps from Tomb Raider 4. And then for this trap, we just want to hug the wall. And right over here, we got this area. And this lever, or this chain, will basically take you to that door that I showed you back at the main room in the Hall of Seasons. And yeah, basically, once you go up, you basically want to try again to get the other trials. But yeah, as you can see, we got this giant wheel. Yeah, basically this whole trap is about timing. And yeah, as you can see, right over here, we are back where we started. Also, why aren't you moving? Okay, I guess you're not gonna move. But yeah, basically, we just wanna avoid this blade trap again. And die at the very end of the video. That is awesome.
Uh-huh.
Alright, the good thing is that I don't have to show you this entire thing again, so I'm just gonna... God, I can't believe I died at the end. But yeah, basically, I need to get the med pack, and then we're gonna go to that door that we unlocked. And claim the large med pack. Alright. So yeah, now we're going to chase this thing. And back over here, this is the door that you unlock by getting all of the crystals in the upper level of the Hall of Seasons. And yeah, basically now what we have to do is we have to go down here into this ladder, and we can just flip the switch to get access to, I guess, the main puzzle of the Hall of Seasons. And yeah, as you can see, if we go down here, look at this. Look at this big contraption. Holy crap, that is pretty big. However, we're going to save this contraption for the next video because yes, next time on Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness, we're going to be finishing the Hall of Seasons by getting the Obscura painting that we're basically, I mean, you know, the reason why we're here is to get the Obscura painting. But yeah, basically, in the next video, we're going to be finishing the Hall of Seasons, and then we're going to be moving back, and then we're going to be returning to the Louvre galleries, and yeah, basically escape from this area. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching this episode of the Tomb Raider Marathon. I'm Jonathan Wolf, and yeah, I will see you all next time in the Hall of Seasons and the galleries under siege. I'm Jonathan Wolf, and I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy, everyone.